Look, Rodrigo, this is absolutely an honor. I don't want to embarrass you straight off the bat, but in the world of
Oh.
Kylie fans, you are a Kylie fan god, if there is such a thing. You really are. You are relentless in your support of Kylie.
Oh.
Your posts are just amazing. They're regular. They're frequent. You don't just come out of the woodwork when there's something like the Tension Tour on the cards. You're always there in the in between times as well. You are just the supreme Kylie fan, in my view.
Oh, that's so kind, Tim. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the kind words. Yeah, it's just like I do love this lady, so I'm just doing like something that she earned that. She earned that from me. Let's say that.
Yeah. Where are you based, Rodrigo?
Oh, I'm actually in Texas. I live in Texas. I've been living in the US for over 10 years, but I'm actually from Brazil. So um, I do understand a lot about Kylie's, market here in the US and of course in South America.
I got you on because you've made this incredible post that I'm about to, and I do. I really mean this. It's incredible.
Oh,
It's not often you read something so thoughtful and insightful about Kylie, and we're going to get to it. But let's start here. How long have you been a fan, and what attracted you to Kylie?
yeah, no, those are great questions. So, Fever was my intro to Kylie. I was back then, I think I was 13 years old, and I still remember that a friend of mine, he was talking about, I was a big Britney Spears fan at the time, but a big friend of mine, he told me about this new pop singer who had a song called, yes, yes,
Oh,
that's
sorry.
how,
Did you hear the hearty chuckle of the boy who was there since 11 years of age watching her on Neighbours? The new pop singer in 2001 or whatever
yeah,
it was.
yeah.
I love that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, now I know that that's not the case, right?
Yeah.
But then he introduced me. He actually shared "Can't Get You Out of My Head" with me at a time.
Mm.
Back then, there was no streaming, so he had to, like burn this, like the CD for me so I could hear the song. And then, of course, "Can't Get You Out of My Head" was everywhere, and music video was playing on MTV. So we know the story, right? I mean,
And where were
massive
you at the time
success.
in Brazil at that stage?
I was in Brazil at a
Yeah,
stage,
yeah.
exactly. And I remember that I did not care much about "Can Get You Out of My Head." So I was like, I'm not sure about this song. But then I remember that there was this music festival, I think it's in Italy, and I was kind of like excited about Britney Spears' performance. I'm no longer a Britney Spears fan, but like at a time, Britney was what Kylie is for me today. And I remember that before Britney, Kylie performed "In Your Eyes." It's that moment that I saw her performing for the first time, and that song, I was like, okay, I'm sold. This is it by Britney. That was that fast. It's crazy. I was
Poor
just,
Brittany. There
yeah,
was
I
no
know,
room
I
in your
know.
heart for both, Rodrigo.
Well, let's say that there was a transitional phase where I love both. Yeah,
A
around this.
transitional phase. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You're the first person I've spoken to who dumped one pop star for Kylie. I love that.
Oh, yeah, I did for sure. Yeah, yeah, she was amazing performing, and then I started to discover her, that catalog, and of course I fell in love. I learned that she was not any newbie. She has been in this business for quite a while, and it was, well, let's be cheesy here, but it was love at first sight. I just fell in love
Oh,
with
oh, I
her.
love that. Come into our world. Come into our world, Rodrigo. So look, let's get to this post. As you
Sure.
know, and I'm working really hard to try to get the journalist on the show who caused a storm of controversy with saying that Kylie fans were not on board with the Tension tour.
Yeah.
But you've also cottoned onto the fact that it's not only the mainstream media that got themselves into a whirl and whipped up into excitement. You've noticed a lot of fans have been critical too. I'm just going to
Yeah.
read back the first paragraph of your post. I just came across a post by William Baker and noticed a few heated fans trashing Kylie's show, begging for him to save her. That broke my heart because the level of entitlement was wild. That wasn't feedback, it was outright disrespect. I'll read more of your post soon, Rodrigo, but essentially what you're trying to say is people have the right to say they don't enjoy the tension tour or they're critical of it, but you think that this is a little bit next level, right?
It yes, most definitely. Especially, to be honest, I mean, yeah, you could have your opinions based on videos. That's fine. That's how it works nowadays. But I do recommend people to really experience like movies or like a concert for yourself before like saying much about what someone tried to capture on video. To be quite honest, like in every tour there was like a similar comment. Never in like in this level, but I remember for Aphrodite, when the first pictures, kind of like hit the internet, some people said, "Oh, this is campy. This is campy, or like looks like a big like Mardi Gras sort of like party." And then everybody started to love the Aphrodite Leaf for being super over the top. So same thing like for some past tours that I feel like some initial videos or pictures they could drive people to kind of like I don't know, have just like one perspective on what the show is about.
Yeah.
But this time around, because Kylie is not focused on, being over the top, but she's coming with this polished concert that's very much in alignment with this new generation, and she wants to showcase who she is because she has this massive opportunity, to showcase more of who Kylie is and create a concert that is very like Kylie oriented versus, like I don't know, like a big Broadway style sort of a show.
Mm.
She has this chance to show people who she is. So I just love her perspective. I just love her vision for this tour. And I think because it's polished, some fans they were not happy. They thought that like, oh, the stage needed to do this and this and that, or the costumes had to be like super overly glamorous for her
Mm.
to be the Kylie that we love, which is not true because there are many Kylies in this Kylie journey. We
And this
were
is a new
there.
one. And I think
And
that's what
yeah,
struck people, Rodrigo. I think that people are really unfamiliar with this because this is Kylie in the world of K-pop, in the world of 2025. And I think a lot of fans were expecting her to come back. And, and what popped for me in your message was we scream, the Kylie fan community screams, don't become a heritage act, Kylie. Keep your keep your music fresh, keep your performance fresh. Don't go over old ground. Give us something new. She's given us something new, but here's the kicker. The majority of people who are commenting on the blandness of this show haven't seen it yet. They have not been
yes.
in the arena. What is their problem? How can you make a judgment about a show that you haven't been to?
Yeah, yeah. So it's like old times when I remember when the X tour came and people saw the stage, and I remember that some early reactions they got like, oh, this is not as complex as the Showgirl tour stage, because it was just like a big square. And then people started to love the show. So but because now social media is a big thing, right? And you know how social media is right nowadays. So people just got like more vocal and more angry. And to be honest, as you said, when they claimed that like Kylie needs William Baker, he was great. I'm not saying that he's not talented. He's absolutely super talented. But this is the new Kylie, as you said. And to be honest, this show is gaining like raving reviews and raving reviews from like people who are paid to write reviews, music critics,
Or
and
people who were
all
there mainly.
it
And
and people who were there.
I
Exactly.
haven't read a single review. This is hand on heart the truth. I haven't read a single review from someone who was there that has said anything less than 4 out of 5 stars and who hasn't raved about her star quality. I want to talk about William Baker with you. You wrote William Baker played a significant role in Kylie's career, and there's no denying his talent, but fans need to understand that they no longer work together and he is no longer part of her inner circle. It's clear they don't spend time together like they once did. And while I won't feed into the rumors, their relationship has obviously changed. What is this? What does William Baker represent? When we hear fans, and I've heard it for a long time, well before this tour, we need to
Yep.
bring Willie back. We need to bring Willie back. What does Willie represent to some fans in the Kylie community, do you think?
Yeah, I think this the striking visuals, right? And by visuals, I'm not talking about like backdrop visuals, but I'm talking about like presenting Kylie in character, right? Like impersonating Aphrodite, like the Las Vegas showgirl. I mean, I think William Baker he was really good at like bringing different moments in art and converging, all of those arts to kind of like um, present Kylie in a glamorous, striking visual way. And he represents nostalgia for a lot of people because the Fever Tour and Aphrodite and X came from that moment in time where a lot of people like fell in love with Kylie either again or discover Kylie around that time.
Mm.
So I think that's what he represents. But as you said, this is a Kylie that it's almost like a rock star Kylie with a pop Kylie, but like being more oriented on showcasing who she is to new generations, right? And I love that. I love that there's no like in character Kylie during the Tension tour. We're seeing more of Kylie, and yeah. Sorry, I think I'm digressing
No,
here.
you're saying it perfectly. And when I consider, and I do, I sit in my meditative state, all zen, trying to work out what do those fans want Willie back for? Because it's not about William Baker. It's not. I believe what they are wanting is exactly what he represented, which was theatrical,
Yep.
camp, colourful, and then, as some people on my podcast recently said, shirtless men, a slightly, let's just call it what it is, a slightly gay show, whatever
Yeah.
that is exactly. And I think that there are, and I respect it totally. I think there's a section of the Kylie community that yearn for the very high camp Kylie show. Tension is not that. And I think your point is you can be uh, yearning for the camp Kylie, but you shouldn't be so ultra critical or personal. Has it become personal, Rodrigo? Has some of this criticism become quite over the top, far from criticism, but more personal attack?
I think so. I believe so. And to be honest, if you don't like something, right, even if you haven't attended a show, which we just discussed, I believe it's kind of silly that like you haven't attended, you're seeing those raving reviews coming from everyone, but you're still criticizing because the stage may not, I don't know, have her over like, I don't know, fly over like a shirtless angel or anything like that. But whatever, whatever, right? Uh, but what I want to say here is that you haven't seen the show, but even if you have an opinion about what you saw on video, right? Uh, you're going to her former coworker, who's clearly not her best friend, right? I'm not saying that like I know whatever's going on with Kylie and William Baker, but their relationship changed. It's clear because he's not in her inner circle. Yeah, they can see each other like once in a lifetime, but it's clear that their relationship, like work wise and in how to say that, like in intimate wise, right? That relationship has changed, and you go to them, right, to write a bunch of stuff, trashing the other, your favorite artist, right, trashing the artist's vision, because Kylie mentioned multiple times before the Tension tour began that this was not a show about playing with a bunch of concepts. This was a show about connection, right? And
Yeah.
being real and connection and all of that. And she created that. Like I have some friends of mine who were complaining that she was not flying from stage A to B and or B to C, depending on how you
I
see.
was wondering that, Rodrigo. Sorry to interrupt your thought,
Yeah.
but when I saw, I'm sitting there and I'd had the blackout, so I didn't know anything about the show. And I'm looking at the main stage and I'm looking at the center stage, which was right in front of me. How exciting is that?
Wow.
And my thought the whole time, that poor old mall rat or whatever she was on, while she was on, I wasn't paying attention to the supporting act. I was wondering, how is Kylie going to get from there to there? And I'm looking under it and thinking, there's no way there's a mechanical lift under there. Anyway, that was a completely divergent thought. I apologize for that. It
No,
was
no, no,
hardly the
no, no,
point you were
no.
making, but
No, yeah, and the point that I'm making is like, then some friends of mine, they were like, "Oh, she just walk in the middle of everybody to the stage," and I was like, "That's not just." That really supports the vision of
that's not
bringing
just what
connection,
pop
and
star
you
does
have
that, right? What pop
exactly,
star
and
does
you
that?
have this legend that is kind of like just like walking toward, like traveling from one
Mingling with
stage
the
to the
great
other.
unwashed, as I say.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's
So
really courageous, actually. I really mean that. And obviously, it's a
I
flavor
think so.
of the Vegas tour where she felt that intimacy and she's
Yeah.
craving it and yearning for that intimacy. So, walking, I agree with you. This is not unsophisticated. It's the most courageous thing a pop star's done in a live show for a long time.
Exactly. And imagine for if you're there and you see her like passing by you. At least like I can share a little bit of my experience in Vegas. That moment that Kylie just like walked close to me and she was actually like walking right in front of me, and then she did the locomotion movements towards me. That moment was probably like the most iconic, I don't know, the most amazing moment, amazing experience that I've had with her in my entire life.
Hey, Rodrigo, I've had dreams of Kylie doing the locomotion right in front of my face, and
It's
I've woken
amazing. I
up
can tell you
quite
that.
happy.
It's amazing, and she did spinning around as well. So she did the spinning around dance right for me. So like Jimmy, I didn't care at all if the Las Vegas stage was not as big as the Golden Tour or like at the X Tour stage, and those were tours that I was able to attend as well. I was just like that moment that she was like at my level, right, in terms of like being there, like walking the floor and close to us and dancing. That moment was definitely like the most special moment, that my best memory from any Kylie show that I've been to. So fans are probably like like loving the experience of like seeing Kylie, crossing stages. So it's so silly that sometimes people cannot see that. It's not about like making the show poor. It's about like how amazing the experience is for the show.
So, key messages here to the Kylie fan community is maybe hold your fire until you've seen the show. That might
Oh,
be number
definitely.
one.
Yeah.
Particularly that fan. There's one comment that stood out for me, really stuck in my craw, as they say. When he said, "If she dares to bring that to the United States, she'll never have a fan over here again."
They're
I
wrong.
know. Really stuck there. It's like the Americans, they want big and flamboyant, apparently, according to this one person. And then the
Hmm.
message number B is if you are going to be critical of a show, that's okay, because especially this show, we're not entirely positive about Kylie because unlike other podcasts, we don't exist to try to get all the special guests on. So we tell the truth here. But yeah, if you're going to be critical, it's fine, but just don't take it so personal and really like you're saying, like have a shot at Kylie's art and what she's trying to do. It's cruel almost.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's cruel, and again, exposing her to like a former like coworker, right? None
Hmm.
of this is fine, right?
Yeah,
Put yourself, let's again, put yourself on her place here. Uh, you know what I'm saying?
I
It's not
do.
That's not kind. That's not kind at all.
So, Rodrigo, where are you seeing Kylie? She's touring all over the world, as the Lights, Camera, Action video showed us. There was a whole map there. Where are you catching Kylie's attention to her?
Yeah, Austin, Texas. I'm super excited to be, there. She's doing a show. What is the name of their arena again? I think it's the Moody Center. That's how they're calling it now. But I'm
Is
super
it rude of
excited.
me to say that I just can't imagine a Texas audience for Kylie? Is that it? Just doesn't add up in my head. Like I'm sure it's going to be a great show, but does it surprise you she's coming to Texas?
Uh, I don't think so. I think it would surprise me if she was kind of like doing concerts in every big Texas city, which is not the case. I think she was really smart on like just scheduling one night in this central area in
Yep.
Austin. Because the gay community in Dallas is huge, and I think to be quite fair, the majority of the fans that will go to a Kylie concert here, they will be, from the gay community. But to be honest, I mean, I think again, I think she was really smart on scheduling like one big show centralized that can bring people from Houston, Dallas, of course, Austin. So it doesn't surprise me. But I remember when I lived in Brazil that when I saw her traveling with, I don't remember. I think with Aphrodite Live, it surprised me a lot that she made Texas a spot, but not anymore. She grew here. She definitely
Yeah.
like grew her audience here, and she was really smart on having that centralized concert in Texas.
Well, mate, it's been a pleasure talking to you. As I say, you are an amazing Kylie fan, so
Oh,
knowledgeable, so supportive, and I like the fact that you are interested in hearing other opinions. But clearly, in this case, there's a line just being crossed, and I'm glad you called it out. I loved reading your post. Quite a few people sent it to me, and I said, "Yeah, yeah, I'm reaching out to him. I promise." Because a few people said, "Can you talk to him?" So
Oh,
I'm really glad that we got to do this, Rodrigo, and I want you to come back on and tell us what the Texas show was like. Is that possible?
it's definitely possible. Definitely report back. And again, the message is like just put yourself in her place. You know, like just understand that like you wouldn't enjoy being trashed all over the internet for something that like it's not even real, right? Because the concert is doing amazing. So think about that, people. That's it.